So, what do you say? In the last class, we discussed about serial control, right? So far, we discussed about most of the sections of library automation, like technical processing, acquisition, circulation, and serial control. And moving on from that, today we are going to discuss about two important aspects. One is maintenance, and another is stock verification. So we will see what they are actually, right? So what do you mean by maintenance? That means you need to maintain something. In the case of library, what are you maintaining? So let us take the broader aspect, maintenance of an institution. It refers to all functions that are required to keep its systems, resources, facilities in good conditions. In case of an institution or university or any company, all the functions, its resources in good conditions. So when you come to library, same only, right? It includes all functions and activities that are essential for keeping its building, resources and facilities in good shape. Like what are the functions and activities in library, and what are the resources? Books, right? Books, periodicals, whatever it may be, the furniture, and the library building and library utilities, whatever it may be, everything should be kept in good condition. That is the principal concept of maintenance, right? So today we are going to see about the maintenance of library resources, right? So why do we need to maintain library resources? So the first point is to enable user-friendly access to resources. That is very much important, right? So if you maintain our records and our resources properly, it facilitates user-friendly access. The user can come to the library and they itself can see where the resources are kept and how orderly and neat it are kept, right? To help protect and preserve library resources against damaging agents. What do you mean by damaging agents? So over a period of time, if you see, if you keep the book on the shelf for a long period of time without using or something like that, what happens? Automatically the pages will insects and the other pages will insects and the other elements will deteriorate the page, right? It will damage the page. So these kind of insects and these kind of these kind of elements are called damaging agents. So in old books they will keep neem leaves to protect the book from pages from these damaging agents, right? So we need to have a proper system of cleaning, dusting and everything. And next, to keep the collection in usable condition, that is true. If the book is so dusted, what will happen? If the book is so dusty, no one will come and take it, right? So you have to clean it and keep it ready to keep the collection relevant to the users, and to ensure that the collection is kept safe and its stocks verified as per items in the administration records of the library. Okay, when you clean it, you will get to know, oh, this book is in the shelf. It also help you with the stock verification process, right? So these are the basic concept. Why do we need to maintain? Everyone knows that, right? So let me move on from the basic to the precise concept, specific concept. What is the need and functions of library maintenance? There are two important components, right, of library maintenance activity. One is arranging resources. Second is maintenance of self-arrangement. So we will see what these are actually. So in arranging resources, they may be carried out in two stages. The first stage, they call it a sequence. What do you call it? What do you mean by sequence? The library resources are organized into broad group of publications. Let it be a broad, what do you mean by broad group? Let it be subject wise, discipline wise, or whatever it may be, according to a specific group or a broad group. That is called sequence. Second stage, the resources in each sequence. So once you classify according to a sequence, the resources in each sequence, let it be library science sequence, let it be chemistry sequence, all the sequences are arranged into a selected system. We use DDC or something into the shelf, right? First we categorize the resources into sequence, then we arrange them into the shelf. So this is called arrangement of resources. So sequence wise arrangement depends upon the category and the size of library. That is very much important, right? It depends upon the category, what type, what category it is, and what type of categories, whether it's public, academic or special or something like that, and size of the library. What is the size of the library? Either it's small or large or something like that. A small library may have only two sequences, books and periodicals. Simple. The guiding principles for choosing sequence in larger libraries. In case of larger libraries, they follow internal and external characteristics of the resources, right? So internal characteristic, nothing but, what do you mean by internal? Inside. What is inside? What is inside the book? That is the content. Internal characteristics is nothing but the content. External characteristics is physical feature. What is outside? Whatever you see, that is external characteristics, right? That is physical features, right? We will see. So internal characteristic comprises of language of subject content, let it be Hindi, English or Urdu, whatever it may be, and levels of treatment of the subject, like whether the book is written for children or adult or something, for research scholars or something. So style of presentation of the subject, whether it's for reference book or statistical table or something. So content value. Okay, so these parameters constitute to internal characteristics. External characteristics, whatever you see outside, that is the size of the book, pages of the book, quality of base material, method of transcribing information, manuscript printed. So whatever you see, the physical attributes, that is external. So in larger library, they sequence the arrangement of resources based on these two, internal and external. Okay, in smaller libraries there will be only two categories. One is books and periodicals. Also remember that this is just an intro. And in case of what you say, libraries also collect sequences to satisfy local needs. I have already told you that our university library is planning a separate section for Sikh collection. So that is local need. Since we are since the university is located in Punjab, which is the origin of Sikhs, right? So they are planning to allot a separate division for Sikh selection. So that is very much important. You must understand the local nature. Okay, local environment is very much important. Even though it is academic library, since it is in Punjab, they are giving importance to the local needs. So like that. So that is why library also forms sequence to satisfy local needs. Whether independent of what do you say, whether it is internal or external. Okay. So personal collection of an eminent person given to a library, like Astashos collection or Chinese study collection, depending upon the nature of the library and where it is located. In our case, they are dedicating a section for Sikhs. Okay, local, to satisfy local needs. And the second aspect is, first we saw arrangement of resources based on two categories. One, we are classifying into sequence, and then we are arranging in shelf. Now we are arranging the publications on shelves. So there are different methods for arranging, right? We all know that. Either subject wise. Okay, subject wise is based on standard scheme of book classification. What do you mean by that? We use DDC, UDC or colon classification. That is a book classification, right? So that is subject wise arrangement. Alphabetical wise, right? Alphabetical wise is using the first letter from the title or from the author. So based on the title, if library automation, the first letter of the title is L, so they can arrange like that also. Okay. And in case of serial number, that is accession number wise, like accession number 1, they will arrange. Some libraries are arranging like that also. They don't follow any classification scheme. They will arrange based on accession number alone. That is also they are doing. Okay. Sometimes it will be difficult to retrieve, and certain cases it is easy depending upon the accession number, right? You have to make sure where the accession number is, and then you can easily retrieve it. So these are the different modes of arrangement in the shelves. Subject wise, where we follow a classification, where we follow a standard classification scheme. Alphabetical wise, either the first alphabet of the title or even the first alphabet of the author, depending upon the needs, right? And serial number is nothing but accession number wise. Accession number 1, 2, they will arrange like that. Okay, the problem is all the department books will be mixed actually. Every subject will be mixed because accession number 1 might be physics, accession number 2 might be chemistry. So everything will be mixed. So in this case, so see, in the three methods, the methods based on alphabet or serial number appear useful to apparent simplicity in locating a title, but not identifying a title by subject. That is true actually. Okay, you can arrange by alphabet or serial number, that is equal, that is easy. But the thing is, you can easily locate a title, but you cannot identify a title based on the subject collection because you are not arranging according to a scheme, according to a subject scheme, right? So in DDC, subjects are given importance. Here only the numbers or the title is given importance, right? So user needs books on a subject, they will fail in identifying books on specific subject if the publications are arranged either alphabetically or serial number wise. So that is a disadvantage of accession, serial wise arrangement and alphabetical wise arrangements, right? So maintenance of arrangement, what is it? Maintenance of arrangement of the collection in the stacks. Call upon the staff to carry out certain functions. What are the functions while arranging the while maintaining the collections which are available in the stack? Shelving of books received from technical section. So we saw the function of technical section, right? They do the cataloging, classification, accessing work, and they will paste the paste all the stationaries like date slip and all the stamps, book packet, and everything. And from circulation section, dusting and cleaning of books. So maintenance department will do all this work. They will dust and clean the books, and also they will dust and clean the shelf also. Checking physical conditions of document, whether the book is good condition or not, to identify those in need of repair or binding. When the when the pages are torn or when the front page is torn, means you need to bind it if the book is of value. Replacement of missing stationery items in book, such as book card. If the book card is torn out, you can replace it. So these are the basic functions of the functions of maintenance of shelf arrangements, right? So stack maintenance function, we all know what is stack, right? So the books are kept in the stack room, that is they are arranging according to certain scheme, that is stack. The stack room, they call it a stack room, where the resources are kept. That room is called stack room. Let it be any kind of arrangement, book subject wise or alphabetical wise or serial number wise. Okay, stack maintenance, that means you are maintaining the stack where the resources are kept. The stack room is nothing but, in library you will see a room called stack room. It is nothing but where the resources are kept. Let it be open access or closed access, whatever it may be. So it functions involve the maintenance of stack involves shelving, shelf rectification, and shelf refurbishing. Let us see what these three are. Okay, so first one is shelving. What do you mean by shelving? Keeping the books on the shelf. Simple as that. Okay, putting back the materials in their designated place in a shelf. So according to a classification scheme or according to accession number or serial number, according to alphabet, whatever scheme of arrangement is followed, you are putting the book back into the shelves. It is a routine work when the library must carry it out on a daily basis to keep the publications arranged on shelf in a proper order. It get disturbed during it usually get disturbed. When it will get disturbed? Because when circulation students users will take books, right? So when they return the books, what will happen? They will not keep the book in the shelf. Actually, they will just return it in the circulation counter and they will go. So it is the duty of the library staff to ensure that the books are restored to the proper place. That process is called shelving. Okay, shelving. Okay, so straighten the shelves constantly. Keep all the books in a straight line. Okay, so for better access, keep the spine of the books parallel to the front border line of each shelf. These are basic. Whatever you are seeing in the library, these are the points actually. Eliminate lean by pushing the loosely shelved book from the right to left. Leave some space unfilled in each shelf. That means you should not keep it compact. There should be certain space in each shelf for accommodating new books. Use book trolley for transporting books to the required shelf zone. From circulation section to the respective shelf zone, they will use trolley in case of large libraries. So these are the common points and these are the ethics of shelving. These points are called the ethics of shelving. How you should follow while shelving the books in proper place. Now we are going to see another concept called rectification, shelf rectification. So what do you mean by rectification? Rectification in a broader sense refers to overseeing the proper maintenance of shelves from the point of view of maintaining correct order of books in shelf and maintaining the books in condition. That means you are supervising. Rectification in a broader meaning is overseeing or supervising whether the book is arranged properly, whether the book is put in the right shelf or not, whether the book is whether the book is in good condition or not. The things you are supervising or overseeing falls under rectification. Sometimes what happens is some users don't take the book. In case of public library, it happens. They don't take the book. They will read for UPSC exams or some government exam. They will read the books. There itself, sit in the library, they will read. What they do is, instead of keeping the book directly in the appropriate shelf, they will keep in the wrong shelf. Because tomorrow they will come again, they only know where they have kept the book. Okay, they only know where they have kept the book because no other they don't want other user to take the same book. So what they do is they will keep the book in a different shelf. So as a librarian, we will not be able to trace where they have kept. Again, tomorrow they will come and again they know where they have kept. They will take it and read it. So these things you should not allow, and these things you should ensure whether the books are kept in the proper. So this process is called as self-rectification, right? You are overseeing, you are supervising whether the right book is kept in the right shelf or not, whether the books are in good conditions or not, arrangement is good or not. The overseeing, right? So maintenance of correct order, replacement of missing stationery items, same again. The the date slip, book packet, everything. Identification of materials which are in need for binding or repair, something like that. Okay. So these are the these are the functions of shelf rectification. Now we are going to see about refurbishing. What do you mean by refurbishing? It's a process of intensive cleaning from the entire collection, either on annual basis or a year-long ongoing process. Okay, that means it is an intensive cleaning. That means they will clean all the library, throughout the library. Okay, either annually, that means every year, or yearly on a certain basis. Okay, they will continue, the process will continue. Or one stack they will clean, and then they will move on to the next stack, like that, based depending upon the required nature, right? Intensive cleaning, that means thorough cleaning. From the point of view of preservation of collection, it is important to preventive measures activity of the library. Okay, so what are the routines of shelf refurbishing? Identifying the area and collecting the needed tools and equipments. That is important. Removing books from the shelf, then only you can clean, right? If the shelf is dusted, or if the books are dusted, you have to remove. You have to clean both the shelf as well as the books, right? So you have to remove it. So cleaning shelves and dusting each book individually. That's why it is called intensive cleaning. It is a big process and large that is a hectic process, but this is very important to maintain the resources as well as the shelf and the library in good condition, right? Replacing cleaned books in the shelves, identifying books in need of repair. So in all the functions, you see the books which are in need of binding or something like that. When you take out a book, you will know this book needs to be binded, something like that. Okay, so these are the three different functions, right? So shelving, shelf rectification, and shelf refurbishing. So these are some of the furnitures and equipments that is used in the maintenance section, right? The book lift. That means book lift is to take the book. That is an equipment in a multi-story library building. Multi-story library building means more than one floor or two floors, right? So in Punjab University Library, they are having 4 floors. For example, if you want to transfer one collection from first floor to fourth floor, it is difficult. It is difficult to take all the books in the stairs or something like that. So they use book lift to transfer books from circulation to various floors. Okay, it is very easy if you use these kind of equipments in a big library, right? So book repair table, as special. What is it? Is a table only, especially designed with provision for stocking tissue paper, board, gum bottle, scissor, knife for minor repair work by the library staff. Okay, in case of due date slip removed or something, basic things, accession barcode removed, you can stick it. You itself can stick it instead of going into the binding section. So there is a specific table. This table involves all the stationery items like tissue paper. That table is used only for repairing the books. That's for minor repair. Okay, it includes the tissue paper, board, gum, scissors, knives, pens, etc. And book supports are required to protect the books from becoming lean or loose, because you are making the book stand in a vertical position from the spine, right? Sometimes the book will be leaning on another book. In order to keep the book straight, they will use some supports. Now I will show you images. Okay, the next time I will show you images, what is book supports and what is book lift and all. And book trolley, I told you trolley. It is like in airports you might have seen trolley, right? To carry luggage. Similarly, there is a trolley to transfer books from the circulation counter or something, to transfer from one section to another. It will be useful. Instead of taking the book in the hand, if you use trolley with wheels, you can place the book in the trolley and you can just roll it over. And shelving and sorting table. Yeah, stacks on each floor needs sorting tables where for shelving are downloaded from trolleys and reloaded. Because in trolley, from the trolley, instead of directly keeping, if there is a table near if there is a table on each floor, you can keep all the books on the table. From there you can shelve it, right? That will be easy. And stools. Some stools is very much essential, because in some libraries what happens is the book where the racks are very high, and some readers find it difficult to locate books at the top shelf, right? So simple stools, tools well designed stools will be useful for them to climb and see what is a book in the top shelf. What is a book stacked in the top shelf? And unit rack. Such racks on each floor helpful for temporary placing of books, right? One unit rack, one-sided rack, that is enough. So one-sided rack you can keep it for temporary placing, for transferring from various functions. If you want to transfer means instead of carrying the book everywhere, you can just place it on that rack. It is a one-sided temporary rack for temporary purpose to store the books. Okay, these are some of the tools. So now we are going to see an important concept called weeding. What do you mean by weeding? Weeding is nothing but removing the unwanted things from the library, unwanted collection. Okay, that is weeding out. There is a process called weeding out. Okay, removing the outdated one, obsolete one, or unwanted one from the library collection in order to generate more space, right? So, according to Stanley, removing a non-core collection from the primary collection area, that is weeding. Weeding is not throwing out. Sometimes they may throw out, but it is not necessarily throwing out. They may remove the collection from the main area and they will keep it in a sub-storage area, sometime like a godown or something like that. Okay, that is weeding out. Okay, this is the primary function. This is the primary definition of weeding. And see, weeding is also called as deselection, relegation, and discarding. Okay, it is also called as, another terminologies are deselection, relegation, and discarding. So, but some of these terms have specific connotation. Deselection is used for a decision for weeding. So we saw the selection process, right? In acquisition management, we saw about what is selection, how selecting the books. Similarly, for weeding, we need to deselect. That means we need to select which books we don't want in the primary collection. That is deselecting. We don't want. That is deselecting. So that is a process. That is a decision for weeding, right? So relegation is transferring material of not current relevance, but sometimes they might need it at a later point of time. That means you are transferring from primary area to another collection. It is not so important, but at a later stage it might be important. So that is called relegation. Discarding is removing unwanted material from the library. You are just removing it off. Okay. So all the three having different functions. So the term weeding refers to all the three functions, and it is more appropriate when you use it. Okay, even if you use discarding, relegating, and deselecting is not wrong. But weeding encompasses all the attributes of three. Okay, deselecting means you are just selecting the books which are not needed. Relegating means you are transferring the books from one collection to another area. The discarding is removing. So weeding encompasses all the things. That's why they are using the term weeding. What is the need for weeding? I already told you the need for weeding is according to the fifth law of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan. Library is a growing organism. That means it will grow in terms of resources, it will grow in terms of personnel, it will grow in terms of users, it will grow in terms of services and everything, right? So when the resources are growing, we need space to stack. So what happens? Unless we take some of the resources from the existing collection, we cannot store new collection, right? So for that, weeding is very much essential, right? It is relevant to its clientele. What do you mean by clientele? Clientele is nothing but users. In addition of new literature on regular basis, library must be updated every now and then, right? So you cannot keep the old literature for a very long time. You have to update it. So old literature, either you can decide depending upon the nature whether you want to relegate it or whether you want to discard it, right? Okay, relegate it means you can keep it in another section. Later they may use it. Some people, if you feel, some people will refer. If not, you can discard it depending upon the nature. So weeding is very much important, right? So see, public library is built up to meet the current needs, and these are not much relevant for longer period. Therefore, collection should be completely turned over every 10 years. So in public library, in every 10 years, the collection should be entirely different. That's what he is saying. That's what Evans is saying. So you have to meet the current needs. You cannot keep the historical point of view every now and then. So every 10 years or something, the collection should be changed. That means you have to weed out weed out the unwanted collections, right? So special libraries, in case of special libraries, they are very cautious in selecting materials for their user. Their storage space is very small. You remember, their storage space is very small, and they may resort only to the continuous review of collection, because special libraries like DRDO, ISRO, scientist, research-based libraries, they want only new research, right? They will just remove the old ones when the new one comes, right? So they are very cautious in it. So depending upon the nature and depending in order to meet the current needs of the users, so weeding is very much needed. So what are the criteria? Physical deterioration beyond repair. Certain books you can bind it, but there are books which you cannot, even after binding also you cannot keep it. That is very difficult. That is physical deterioration beyond repair. Even if you repair, it will be worse. So that kind of books you can weed out. Content superseded by new edition. Yeah, when the new edition comes, no point in keeping the old edition, right? So you can remove it. Change in aims and objectives of the parent body. Yeah, if the organization has different aims, the old collection relevant to the former aims or objectives can be removed, right? Because now the aim and objective of the organization has changed. So number of copies of a title in excess to the prospective demand. If you are having many number of copies more than the demand, you can remove it. If the users are having, if there are only 10 users, you are having more than 50 copies, means you can remove the other 40, right? You can keep, you can remove it, because 10 users are using, and you have books to satisfy all the users, and no point in keeping excess copy, right? You can acquire new titles or new other areas. Titles acquired by mistake, sometimes it will happen. Title which are acquired by mistakes. Shelf time period. Time elapsed since the last issue date. That is shelf time period means you can take a note of when this book has issued. Okay, in the statistics, this book has issued since 2015. No one has taken this book like that. That is self time elapsed. If those kind of books you can remove, that means since last 5 or 10 years, no one is using that book. The time has elapsed. You can remove those kind of books based on the data and statistics. The process is, what is the weeding process? A team of staff to suggest titles suitable for weeding. That is deselection, right? So you have to select the titles which we don't need in our library, which we want to weed out. Remember, so team of professional staff to examine the suggested title. Once they are suggesting the title, and the professional staff will come and examine, supervise which title, examine whether these titles are suitable for weeding or not. Then invitation to user group. Again, they will call the user to re-examine, because from the user point of view, it is very important. User might say, no, this book is needed for us. Even though we don't take it, it is very much essential. We will take it in this sem or something like that. So again, they will re-examine from the user point of view. And finally, after all these analysis, they will prepare a final list of recommended for approval of library authority, and they will stamp in that book, they will stamp weeded out, because all the weeded out books are not thrown out. Remember that all the weeded out books are not thrown. Some are kept in different sections as different godown or some storage rooms, right? And there will be a stamp, a seal called weeded out. So make appropriate corrections in the catalog card. In the catalog card also, they will do it. In case of automated library automated software, they will just type weeded out. Simple. Okay. So these are the procedures. What are the barriers? What do you mean by barriers? Difficulties, hindrances. Okay, barriers. Prevalent belief among librarians that library culture is to build up collection, not to deplete it. Yeah, that is happening. Yeah, as a librarian, everyone will think like, most of the librarians think like, we are here to build a collection, not to throw it. So that is a common thinking of the librarian. Okay. So this kind of thinking mindset will prevent weeding. Even though this kind of mindset of the librarians, what happens is, they don't even throw the old, they don't even weed out the old books. They will keep all the books. Though this kind of mindset is a barrier for weeding out. Widely held impression that after all the weeding does not create new space. So that is an impression. Even after doing all the weeding out, they feel that no new space is generated. Why should I weed out? That is also a mindset, right? Fear of committing mistake in weeding, which could result into losing some important titles. That is a common fear actually. Instead of selecting the correct title for weeding out, if you select an important book to weed out, means you will lose the title. So that is a fear among that. So these are the barriers. Lack of support from the user community. No user will again in the process we saw that user must examine it. Sometimes user will not come forward to that, right? Okay. Uh, Common perception is library prestige lies in large collection. That is a common perception actually. Library prestige, the prestige of the library lies in number of collection. That means my library has 1 lakh books, your library has 2 lakhs books, the prestige. So it is not like that actually. The nature of the collection and the content which it is, whether it is satisfying the user needs or not, that is more important than the number of collections, right? So this is the common, these are the common, what is a common factors, and there are some legal problems, right? It is called wasting of public fund, because public is giving to buy. In case of public libraries, we are getting taxes and cesses to buy books for resources for public library, or throwing out public fund. So there is a process in government organization. There is a specific procedure called weeding out, and they will give you circular, and based on that you have to select documents, and you have to type the name of the documents and everything. You have to get approval from the competent authority, then only you can weed out. Even though when you do that, they will fear that you are wasting public money like that. So these are the common factors that serves as a hindrance or barriers or difficulties in weeding out, right? What are the benefits? So we have seen the difficulties. Now we will see the benefits. It helps libraries to keep their collection to optimum size. That is true actually. When you weed out which books which are not necessary, you can keep it. You can see, you can help it will keep the libraries to the optimum size, the actual size, right? It improves access to desired material, create new spaces, improves the value of library materials. But how it will improve the value? Because you keep only the collection which are needed to the user community, so the value will be increased, because user will use all the books which you have kept, right? You have removed unnecessary books which are not used by the user, so value will automatically be increased or enhanced. So disposal, where will you dispose? Weeded material may sort out into few categories, okay? Like title suitable for relegation to alternative storage. Relegation is nothing but transferring, I told you. Okay, titles fit for repair and preservation. You can take titles which can be preserved and which can be binded and preserved again. Titles that may be distributed among libraries considered more appropriate. That means you are exchanging, instead of throwing it, you are exchanging it to another libraries, which may, for them those books may be important, right? Titles fit for destruction through shredding. That means you are just throwing it out, right? Destructing it. Okay, so these are the important concepts of weeding. So now we are going to see the one more concept, that is called stock verification, right? So whatever we are having in the library, we call it as stock. Okay, what is a stock? We call it as inventory or something. In case of an office, table, chair, fan, everything is stock. In case of library, books, journals, electricity items, whatever it may be, right? Furnitures, everything is stocks. So in case of library, mostly they will concentrate on resources, the books and the collections, right? So stock verification is very much essential. Why? It is done to account for library books and other library acquisition as per accession records. That is true, because you are purchasing somewhat in university case, every year they are allotting some 50 lakhs or something like budget, means you are purchasing around 40,000 books every year. So that means the books are actually in the university library. So every year they will take, at the end of the year, end of the academic year, they carry out a process called stock verification. That means they will check the books. They will check the books whether they are actually in the library or not. It can be, stock verification can be very much helpful in finding out the missing books. Okay, finding out the missing books, and also to find out the books which are need for maintenance also. Okay, so stock verification is very much essential. Okay, so it involves it involves three distinct activities: counting of books, rectification. Okay, rectification, I told you about rectification, right? Overseeing, managing, supervising, preparation of the report for consideration of the authorities. That means you first count the books. So our library is having 2000 books, and I have taken a stock verification. 2000 books are available in the library, or 1500 books are available in the library. Some books are taken by circulation section, some books are sent for binding or something like that. So after ascertaining all the reports, you ascertain that either no book is missing or only few books are missing, and you prepare a final report. And send it to your head. So in our case, the librarian will prepare a report and send it to the vice chancellor every year. So that is called stock verification process. So how will you do stock verification? There are different methods, right? Some of the methods are accession register method, dummy accession register method, book cards, numerical counting, shelf list, sample stock. So we will see what these are. Accession register method requires two persons. What they will do is, one person, they will take the accession register, one person will go to the library shelf and he will take the book out and he will read the accession number. That another person who is having the accession register will put a tick mark. Okay, will put a tick mark in that accession register. So in that way he will count all the books, and whichever books which is not ticked are called missing books. Okay, so the thing is, it is very difficult and it is very time, though it looks easy, it is very time consuming and there is prone to manual error. Instead of, if I am saying an access number 22257, the another person ticking it as 22256 means everything will be wrong. 22257 will be in the missing list. So there is prone to manual error. That is accession number. He is directly taking the accession register. In case of dummy, what he will do is, instead of taking the accession register, he will print out all the accession numbers in a paper or a sheet. Okay, and then they will go. Instead of taking, and then they will take it. That is called dummy accession register. Directly they won't take the accession register. Instead, they will print all the numbers of accession register in serial order, and they will go to the shelf and again they will take it. Again, the same disadvantage will be there, right? And book card methods is based on the cards. For every book, I told you there will be a book card, right? And the book, they will take the book card and arranged in serial order, right? The missing serial numbers are noted separately in the serial order, like 1, 2, 3 or something like that. That is accession number order. Serial order is nothing but accession number 1, 2, 3. So they will note down the missing. In case of 1 lakh books, it is very difficult. They will note down the missing book. They will note down the missing book card, and those books are termed as missing books, right? Numerical counting. It is a very simple method actually, in which all the books in stack or loan or with the binder are counted, and the total number is compared with the total number in the accession register. That means he is not checking any accession number. Simple. He will just count. Okay, he will just count like 1, 2, 3 and count, and then he will count the number of books in issued, number of books in binding and everything, and he will see if 2000 books are there in the library means he will count, he is getting 1500 books in the shelves in the stack room, and some 200 books in the binding section, 100 books in the circulation they have issued. So that means 1800 books are there. So another 200 books are missing. Simple. But it is very difficult also. Again, it will be difficult to ascertain the accession number, which book is missing or like. Shelf list. We know that shelf list is arrangement of duplicate set of catalog cards in parallel order to the bookshelves in various parts of the library. That means you are having a duplicate set. I have told you that one official catalog should be maintained by the technical section, right? So if there is a duplicate set of catalog card, you can do stock verification based on that particular shelf list. A person sits near a stack with a tray containing the cards corresponding to the books particular in a particular stack. For every stack, there will be duplicate set of catalog cards. Another person, they will just read out the accession number, and if the accession number is available in that particular card, he will slant it. He will slant the card. If it is not means, he will note down the missing number. Okay, this is how they ascertain. So all these things are, if they done manually, those days they will do manually only. It is very difficult. Stock verification is a time consuming process and is a meticulous work, right? So nowadays, with the help of RFID, you can take the scanner. You can just walk with the scanner. Like, unlike barcode you need to scan it perfectly in the barcode area. RFID is not like that. I told you, within a bandwidth it can scan. You just take the scanner and it will just automatically you show the scanner in front of the book, automatically it will read. Within a second, you will get the list of numbers in the computer. Okay, you will also ascertain which books is missing. So RFID is very much useful for stock verification. It makes the process very simple, and there will be no error also. Error will be minimized due to the automated process, right? So these are some advantages. It helps in identifying books which are missing in the collection. That is true actually. Staffs get an opportunity to become more familiar with the library collection. Yeah, unless you do stock verification, you don't know what is the collection you have in the library. So whenever you join as a librarian in a new institution, the first thing you should take is stock verification. Okay, when you join as a librarian in any new institution, the first thing you should take is you should ask permission for stock verification. Then only you will know what are the books available in the library, what are the books missing. Because directly if the older librarian hands over to you, you have no idea. You have no idea what are the books available, what books was missing, what books were there, what books were issued. So the first thing as a librarian, as a new joining librarian, what you should do is you should take stock verification. Then only you have to proceed further to ascertain the collections. That is very much important. Remember this. Okay. So based on this, you can identify these are advantages. So here also you can identify the titles which are needed for weeding out. You can identify the books which are needed for maintenance or repair. You can identify the books with missing tags, due dates, and library is thoroughly cleaned. That is very much important, right? So disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? During stock verification, it's difficult for the library to maintain routine work, right? It is difficult for the library to issue because you are taking stock verification. When the student comes and asks for books, when you issue it, the number will confuse. You will get confusion which book is issued during stock verification. So library users are denied. That means they are not permitted. They are not given library facility during the period. Okay, that's why they will do in the vacation period. Before the vacation, they will do it. Final. Members are required to return the books borrowed with abstract their works. Yeah, when you are carrying out stock verification, they will send a circular that you have to return the book immediately. Even though your due date period is not over, you have to return it immediately. That is a problem. That is a disadvantage. Library routines, every routine will be stopped. Acquisition, technical process, everything will be stopped and disturbed, right? Disturbed because stock verification is a major task, and for this, every other work will be disturbed. Some loss of books is phenomenon in library. No library can claim zero loss. That is true. That is true actually. That is true. No library can claim zero loss. You cannot say that no book has been lost. That will be lost. And according to certain rules, I think 5% of loss per year is permissible. I'll check the GO order also. Okay. Staff time is wasted during the same job which are otherwise even doing under shelving. Okay. So yeah, it is true. Sometimes staff time is wasted. So in order to do effective staff verification, that's why they are using technologies like RFID something. It will instantly it will take the records if it is stored manually if the data is entered. So kindly go through this particular website which is used to prepare this presentation. Thank you.